The best way to make someone regret losing you, is to say nothing. Because silence is not weakness. Silence is power. It speaks when words only make things worse. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop giving others the chance to misunderstand you. You start speaking a higher language, the language of self-respect. You don't chase closure. You become it. Every time you choose peace over proving a point. Every time you walk away instead of reacting. You create space for growth, and in that space, you rise. The people who once dismissed you will think about you again. Not because you tried to remind them. But because your calm will echo louder than their pride. Silence has a strange way of revealing truth. It humbles the loud and strengthens the quiet. And when you master this art, the very people who once overlooked you will wonder how they ever lost you. In this video, you'll discover 7 silent ways to make them regret losing you. Not through words, not through revenge. But by how beautifully you rise. 1. Stay silent, but evolve loudly. Stay silent, but evolve loudly. Disappear to upgrade. Reappear as peace. There comes a time when explaining yourself no longer helps. When every word feels wasted on people who already decided not to understand you. That is the moment to go quiet, not in anger, but in strength. Silence during change is powerful because it confuses those who expected your reaction. They wait for your anger, your sadness, your need to be seen. But instead, they get nothing. No message. No proof. No sound. Just the slow, unseen work of your becoming. The quiet hurts them more than confrontation ever could. Because they can't measure silence. And they can't argue with peace. You start small. You stop explaining. You stop proving. You begin to build. Days pass. Then weeks. While they stay in the same noise, you move toward stillness. You read more. You learn new things. You take care of your body. You forgive yourself for trying too hard. You pour energy into the life you once poured into someone else. That's the beginning of transformation. The first phase, withdrawal. It's not about running away. It's about returning to yourself. You unplug from what drains you and face the quiet truth. You were never hard to love, they were unready to receive it. In silence, you begin the second phase, growth. This is where you rebuild. You start small, sleeping better, eating better, walking under the morning sun. You feel your strength return, piece by piece. You start smiling without reason again. Not the loud, performative smile, but the quiet one that comes from knowing you'll be fine. You stop seeking validation. You stop checking if they notice. You stop waiting for them to ask how you are. Because this time, your peace is not for display. It's for healing. Months pass, and you keep growing. Not for them. But for you. Then, one day, the third phase begins, emergence. You return to the world not as who you were, but as who you became. Your eyes look softer. Your words are fewer, but wiser. Your presence feels grounded, calm, unbothered. When they see you again, in person or through a screen, something inside them stirs. They notice your stillness. They feel your glow. They realize the storm they brought into your life no longer touches you. You've become the thing they could never be. Peaceful in your own skin. And that's when regret begins. Not loud, not visible, but quiet and deep. They'll scroll through your life and see you calm. Smiling in ways they never understood. And it will burn quietly inside them. Because silence after growth is the loudest truth of all. It says, you no longer need their validation. It says, you outgrew the version of yourself that needed their attention. Stay silent. Let your change speak for you. Let your peace become their mirror. When you reappear as peace, you don't have to prove anything. Your calm will say everything. 2. Detach with grace, not anger. Detach with grace, not anger. Silence after betrayal is self-respect. When something ends, the heart wants to fight for what once felt safe. It wants to explain, defend, fix, and hold on. But wisdom begins when you learn that not every ending needs a reaction. There is strength in letting go without a scene. There is peace in walking away without turning it into a battle. You don't curse them. You don't chase them. You release them. Not because they deserve peace, but because you do. Letting go is not giving up, it's choosing yourself. It's realizing that holding on to pain doesn't bring healing. It only keeps the wound open. It's like putting down a heavy bag you've carried for too long. At first, your hands still feel the weight. Your shoulders ache from the memory of carrying it. But soon, the lightness feels natural. You breathe again. You stand taller. You remember who you were before the burden. Detachment doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you care about yourself too. It means you no longer give power to what drains your peace. You stop checking their social media. You stop waiting for messages that never come. You stop wondering if they think of you. Because your energy has found a new direction, inward. Grace is not loud. Grace doesn't prove a point. Grace is quiet understanding. It's the moment you stop replaying old conversations. And start listening to the silence inside you. It's the decision to choose dignity over reaction. To keep your voice soft when your heart feels heavy. To forgive not because they asked, but because you want to move forward unchained. When you detach with grace, you break the invisible cord that kept you tied to the past. You stop dancing to the rhythm of their actions. You start moving to your own pace again. There's a peace that comes with not needing to be right. Not needing to be heard. Not needing closure from those who never gave clarity. Silence becomes your final answer. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you finally understand that nothing more needs to be said. And when they realize your silence wasn't revenge, it was healing, regret begins. They'll replay the moments you could have shouted, but didn't. They'll remember how calm you stayed when they expected chaos. They'll see the peace in your distance. And understand too late that it was never pride, it was growth. Grace will always say more than anger. And the person who chooses peace always wins in the end. 3. Become unreachable. Focus on becoming unreachable. Distance creates desire. There is a kind of strength that grows in quiet distance. It is not about shutting people out. It is about understanding that your energy is sacred. And not everyone deserves access to it. When you begin to value yourself, you also begin to protect your time. You start saying no more often. You stop explaining why. Your life becomes invitation only. Unreachability is not pride. It is self-worth. When you were easy to reach, they took your kindness for granted. They assumed you would always be there. Every message, every call, every apology. You answered, even when it hurt. But now, you choose silence over reaction. You choose stillness over noise. You stop running toward what keeps breaking you. You learn that peace lives in distance. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life. Not everyone should know your next step. Or how you healed. Or how well you're doing. Keep some things for yourself. Guard your peace like a sacred space. You don't have to announce your growth. You don't have to share your healing. You don't have to be reachable to people who once ignored your voice. There's beauty in quiet boundaries. There's power in being unseen. While your life becomes softer, stronger, more grounded. They'll notice it. They always do. They send messages that never reach you. They scroll through old photos. They replay old conversations. Hoping to feel something that no longer exists. They remember your voice. When silence becomes too loud. And slowly, they understand. You didn't become cold. You became calm. You didn't disappear to punish them. You disappeared to find peace. Unreachability is not about proving anything. It is about protecting what matters most, your mind, your heart, your peace. When people can no longer reach you the way they used to, they start to see what they lost. And the distance that once made them feel safe now makes them restless. They can't reach you. Not because you are hiding, but because you've grown beyond the place they left you in. 4. Let time do the talking. Let time do the talking. One day, they'll realize. Time has a way of revealing what words never could. It exposes intentions, mistakes, and truths. It clears the fog that emotion creates. You don't rush karma. You don't rush healing. You let days turn into clarity. You let time speak on your behalf. Because time never lies. It always tells the truth, not through noise, but through the quiet unfolding of life. At first, it feels like nothing is changing. You wake up with the same thoughts. The same ache. The same silence. But slowly, without warning, the pain begins to loosen. One morning, you wake up and realize you haven't thought about them in days. Your heart feels lighter. The air feels kinder. You smile without reason. That's time working quietly for you. It doesn't rush. It doesn't shout. But it heals what you thought would never close. And while you're healing, they're remembering. They start to feel the weight of what they lost. The peace they once ignored now keeps them awake. The love they dismissed now feels irreplaceable. The seasons change. And suddenly they see what they threw away. What once felt ordinary now feels rare. What they once walked away from becomes the memory they can't escape. They'll remember your calm. Your patience. The way you never begged to be understood. They'll see you living quietly. Moving forward without bitterness. And it will speak louder than any words ever could. Because silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means growth is happening quietly. It means time is doing the work for you. Every day that you choose peace over reaction, you prove something without saying a word. And one day, when they see how far you've come, it won't be your voice that haunts them. It will be their own memories. They'll think about the way you made them feel safe. They'll remember how you loved without pride. And they'll realize, far too late, that the person they left behind no longer exists. You changed. You evolved. You healed. And they stayed the same. Because while they wasted time explaining, you were using time evolving. 5. Level up emotionally, not publicly. Level up emotionally, not publicly. Evolve so silently that no one sees the change coming, they just see the result. The quietest people are often doing the loudest healing. They are not loud about their pain. They are not loud about their growth. They simply keep moving forward in silence. You stop announcing your progress. You stop trying to prove how far you've come. You stop needing anyone to see your glow, because now, you can feel it for yourself. Maturity is when peace starts to matter more than attention. It's when you no longer crave to be understood. You just want calm. You just want to be free. You post sunlight, not storms. You no longer share your pain for sympathy. You no longer share your joy for approval. You learn to keep your moments sacred. You celebrate quietly, with gratitude. There is a beauty in doing well without needing an audience. In growing without needing to be seen. In healing without needing to prove that you've healed. Public validation fades fast. Emotional peace lasts. Because peace does not depend on likes or recognition, it lives deep within you. When you start focusing on emotional strength, the noise around you begins to fade. You start noticing how peaceful life becomes when you don't explain every choice. You start seeing how clear your path is when you stop waiting for approval. Healing in silence doesn't mean you are hiding. It means you have learned that your growth belongs to you, not to the world. You choose privacy, not secrecy. You choose peace, not performance. And soon, the things that once upset you no longer have power. The comments that once broke you no longer touch your spirit. The memories that once hurt become lessons that guide you. You learn to smile differently, not to show strength, but because you feel it. Your calm becomes your comeback. Your balance becomes your victory. You no longer need to win arguments, you just walk away and let your silence speak. And when people see you again, they notice something different. Your presence feels lighter. Your eyes softer. Your energy grounded. They can't explain it, but they feel it. That's what true growth looks like, quiet and steady. You outgrow the need to announce everything. You outgrow the need to prove yourself. You understand that the most powerful transformation happens in stillness. When you master this level, revenge no longer excites you, peace does. You stop wishing for others to regret losing you. You just hope they find the clarity that you found in silence. Because once your heart learns calm, chaos no longer attracts it. Once your spirit feels steady, noise no longer moves it. And that's when karma steps in. 6. Let karma handle what you don't. Let karma handle what you don't. Wish them clarity. There comes a moment when you realize not every wrong deserves your reaction. Not every wound needs your answer. Some lessons are better taught by life itself. You stop wishing them pain. You wish them clarity. Because seeing the truth hurts more than any revenge you could plan. You begin to understand that karma isn't punishment. It's education. It teaches through experience. It gives people back the energy they once gave to others. What you release, returns in time. What they planted, they will meet again. And you no longer have to be the one to make things right. You live differently now. You live in peace. You no longer look back to see if they're sorry. You no longer ask if they understand what they did. You let life show them in its own quiet way. They remember the kindness they took for granted. They remember the calm they mistook for weakness. They remember the love that asked for nothing in return. And slowly, they meet the silence they once gave you. They feel the absence of your care. They hear the echo of your patience. They come face to face with themselves. That is karma. Not a storm, not a curse. Just a reflection. Life holding up a mirror and saying, this is what you created. You, on the other hand, move on lighter. You don't carry bitterness. You don't carry the need to prove. You let your peace become their mirror. Every time you choose calm over reaction, you teach the universe how you wish to be treated. You send a message without a single word. You let the universe write the ending. You just walk away from the story. You no longer chase understanding. You no longer chase closure. You simply allow life to balance itself. Because it always does. One day, they will understand. Maybe not today. Maybe not soon. But time will show them everything you never had to say. And when it happens, the only thing left for them will be regret. Not because you wanted it. But because truth always returns home. You don't wait for their apology. You don't hope for their guilt. You live. You heal. You rise. Because the final step isn't about them anymore. It's about you. 7. Keep moving forward without looking back. Keep moving forward without looking back. The right people will never need to lose you. There comes a time when you realize that peace is found in your steps ahead, not in the footsteps behind you. When you walk forward, you stop carrying the echoes of the past. You stop repeating old stories in your mind. You stop reopening doors that were meant to stay closed. You understand that not every ending was a loss. Some losses were lessons. Some goodbyes were blessings. Some distance was protection. When you finally move forward, you begin to see the reason behind every silence, every delay, every goodbye. You start to understand that what left was not meant to stay. And what stays now is what's meant to grow with you. You stop waiting for apologies. You stop needing validation. You stop checking if they miss you. Because you're too busy building a life that feels full, with or without them. You build days filled with gratitude. You build nights filled with rest. You build a heart that no longer breaks over the same story. And when they see you again, they see the difference. They see that you no longer look back. They see that you found something they never gave, peace. They watch from the sidelines as you create a life that no longer includes them. But this time, you don't build it to make them regret it. You build it because you finally learned how to choose yourself. You begin to enjoy your own company. You find comfort in quiet mornings and simple routines. You find joy in small victories. You find healing in solitude. Every step forward is proof that you no longer need what broke you. Every breath you take without pain is a sign of strength returning. You stop chasing what's gone. You stop proving your worth. You stop explaining your heart to those who never tried to understand it. Instead, you walk into the sunlight, free, whole, and calm. You let the soft wind carry away what no longer belongs to you. You move through your days lighter. Because you are no longer fighting the past. You become the person you needed when you were hurting, patient, kind, understanding, strong. You become your own safe place. You become your own peace. And that's when you truly win. Not when they regret losing you. But when you stop caring whether they do. Because healing is not about proving anything. It's about finding quiet within yourself. It's about reaching a place where you can wish them well. And still walk away in peace. Keep moving forward. Leave the past behind with gratitude. Not resentment. Keep walking until peace feels natural again. Because the road ahead will always be kinder than the one you left behind. CTA. The right people will never need to lose you. Everything that happened led you here, to peace, to clarity, to strength. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer need to explain. You simply live, and let your silence speak. Let's remember the 7 silent ways. Stay silent, evolve loudly. Detach with grace. Become unreachable. Let time do the talking. Level up emotionally. Let karma handle the rest. Keep moving forward. Each step brought you closer to yourself. Each moment of stillness taught you something words never could. Because silence is not empty. It's full of answers.